I didn't mean to chuckle, but I was in real estate. I just like to mention.
and get our regular meeting, the Harrison Planning Commission, February 13th, 2024 meeting started. We'll go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Graff.
Here.
Mr. Grubbs.
Here.
Ms. Knock.
Here.
Mr. McMurdo.
Here. And we've got our January 9th meeting minutes.
Wilson moves to approve the minutes of January 9th.
Second. Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Mr. Graff.
Yay.
Mr. Grubbs.
Yay.
Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Abstain. All right. And we do have visitors with us tonight. Gail Chuck from the Harrison Tree Board. She's here to discuss tree board interaction with the Planning Commission and economic development.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I gave you two pieces of information, one from Tree City Information and Practice Urban Forestry. Our tree board was formed around 2011 under the impetus of Deborah Acra and Judy Kirchhoff to become a Tree City USA. It took us several years to fulfill the requirements to attain that status. The requirements to be a Tree City USA, the city needs to do the following. Have a tree board that meets at least 6 times a year. Have a tree ordinance that tells how our city manages our public trees. Spend at least $2 per capita on pruning, planting, and removal when necessary of public trees, and to celebrate Arbor Day with a proclamation, a signed proclamation. Our tree board meets at least 10 months a year, the 4th Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the community center in the small conference room. Our 5-member board consists of myself, Debbie Mossberger, Debbie McCain, Amy Searcy, and Doug Lohman. All the members have expertise in the gardening area. Our council liaison is Mike Maines. Each July, we submit a budget to the financial department to cover expenses for our street trees, Arbor Day sapling giveaway, water bags for street trees, arborist training, and speaker for the Arbor Day program. The 2024 budget is $3,882.50. Debbie Mossberger meets with Dave Perkins, maintenance head, and they list the hours spent on tree trimming, etc. This information goes into a report she sends to the Arbor Day Foundation that keeps records for Tree City USA. Mayor Grubbs asked for this report, and we think this would be good to deliver it to council each year. I don't have a copy of the report, and Deb is on vacation in Florida someplace. So when she comes back, I'll be happy to put a full report in front of City Council, and I think that's a good idea so you know what your tree board does. I know Mike, and it used to be Lexus used to give information at your council meetings on what the tree board does. But why am I here tonight? Well, several years ago, the board was given the task of approval of new landscape plans for businesses and residential developments in Harrison. We are an advisory board, and over the past few years, we feel we have made recommendations on landscape plans for better tree and shrub selection and also placement in these developments. We were instrumental in making changes in the landscape ordinances last year. We feel we could be more effective if we could be more active in the beginning of these developments, especially with PUDs that include interaction with the Economic Development Department and with you, the Planning Commission. The tree board seems to get the landscape plans after all the negotiations have been made, and it's more difficult to make meaningful suggestions when we come late into the game. We don't know how the Planning Commission is involved in early negotiations or just when there is a preliminary plan to evaluate. How are you involved in the initial planning? Or do you just get the plans dumped to you? I mean, I like to know.
So after a developer goes through the entire process of meeting with our building and zoning department, meeting all the obligations of it depends on the piece of property. Obviously, we may be talking about Oakland Hills here. We may be
No,
talking about,
it doesn't matter what, yeah.
No, it might be Parks of Whitewater, it might be whatever, depending on how it plays out. But the developer will come in and start with a concept, and then it will come before council, and some discussions will happen, and then it'll continue to work its way through the building and zoning department before it'll actually come here for initial review. Once it comes here, it is purely making sure that it fits into our zoning in the type of property. If it is a PUD, then it has to come along with the PUD documents. If it's straight up R3, it's making sure that it meets the requirements of an R3 development. So by the time it makes it here, it's worked its way through to make sure that a developer has met the requirements, and this is a review committee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you come in pretty late in the game also. Well, early last year, the tree board wrote to Shannon Hammonds asking for more involvement in PUDs, since he told us the changes we had made in the landscape ordinances would not apply to PUDs. They were individual developments and had their own rules and regulations. We wanted to make suggestions that our tree board would want to see such things as heavily treed and shrub berms for developments where homes or businesses faced roads, split entrance exits that were divided and landscaped, walking trails of green space area, just to name a few of the ideas our tree board had. If this information could be given to the developers and the Planning Commission in the initial process of negotiations, this would be more beneficial to the developer if they knew what we expected out of them early on, instead of waiting till the very end and saying, can't you change this? If they were given a list of things that we would like to see, and I'm sure that'd be the same thing if your Planning Commission had a list of things that you would like, some basic items you would like to see the economic development give to potential developers too. I think it would benefit you too if you had such a list. Someone came to me and told me that they had a large piece of property in Harrison that could be developed. She told the Economic Development Department, quote, consider only developers that are commercial, that would provide good paying jobs, and the development would be aesthetically pleasing. It would be advantageous for our boards to have some basic demands. The tree board would have landscaping, planning could include some architectural design board giving minimum requirements for design and materials. Maybe you already have a design, board that looks, architectural design board that looks at materials and styles. I don't know if you have that or not. I did consult with Wendy Van Buren, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Regional Forester, who is our liaison with the Tree City USA for Southwest Ohio. She suggested that I talk with the Lebanon Tree Board member and Paul Drury, who is the urban planner for Anderson Township. Both have active tree boards that work closely with their planning commissions. Recommendations including having a member of the tree board attend your planning commission meetings and having somebody from your board come to our tree board meetings and listen to what we're doing. It could be beneficial to both groups. Our city is one of the fastest growing cities in Ohio. The second pamphlet I gave to you is concerning the importance of preserving green space. Anderson Township in the 70s was growing fast like Harrison is growing today, but their housing developments were not annexed into neighboring Cincinnati or Newtown. Their trustees were worried about loss of green space and put a levy on the ballot to become a green space township. So Anderson Township is a green space township. Over the years, they have bought and accepted donated land throughout Anderson Township to establish green space areas. This is something the city might consider, and also the township. I'm going to go to their meeting next Wednesday and suggest something like this. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I'll answer any questions you might have about the tree board and what we do.
I'll just make one comment, especially on that last, I'll make one statement in regards to that last comment. I think it'd be interesting to have a conversation with, Anderson Township in regards to how they approach, especially donated green space, stuff that we'd be able to preserve, to continue to have, parks or whatever it ends up being. And I'd encourage you, if you don't mind, reaching out to them to see if maybe we can set up a meeting.
They would be happy. Paul Drury is just a wonderful person to deal with, and online, I mean, I printed it out, I have it at home, but a whole list of what properties they bought and which ones were donated. Like some people donated land for $1 or $2, this type of thing. And I think that would be a wonderful thing for us as we're going.
Micro parks or something like that to keep the green space throughout the community. I think that would be an interesting conversation to have. Obviously, a lot of landowners, we don't have the ability to pay $6 million for a piece of land.
Right.
But, if we can keep micro parks, that's definitely something that we could take a look at.
I'd be happy to give, I mean, it's on their website, their list of donated properties and how much they paid for. Yeah, it's on their website.
I also
But-
know that Great Parks is in the process of doing a blueway and a shared trail project down the Great Miami River and then up the Whitewater. And it's going to be, it's going to take decades, but, the former mayor asked me to be on that advisory committee. I know that they are working on a lot of donated green space and things like that as well. But yeah, I think that it's, and everyone's would support, looking at doing more green space in Harrison. And, that it's just I don't think you'll get any arguments from anyone with that.
Well, it would be nice if somebody, instead of just annexing their property, they would annex and donate some of their property. So if a big development goes in, you do have green space area in addition to whatever is demanded in a PUD of the development.
I won't shock you, Mrs. Chuck, but I think you're right. I think you should be notified in the early stages when plans go to the zoning board. How difficult would it be for them to have an extra copy and give it to you as the tree board to look at and give your recommendations to the zoning and also to the planning commission and city council?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be the last one notified.
And I was gonna make a comment in regards to that too, but thank you, Jerry. Obviously, I've been in this a month and 13 days now. And there are a lot of different items that I'm working on and trying to, one, create some efficiencies, but also create a consistent business professional environment that's good for the overall community. There's a lot of different evaluations going on, so all I ask is for a little bit of patience as I continue to review different process and everything. While I definitely think that's something that's absolutely feasible, that we can submit a concept just for your advisory recommendations. Hey, this is kind of nice, but this might be a little bit better. And then you make the recommendations back to Gordon and the building zoning department, and maybe it's something that we can push for as we move forward. So, I ask for a little bit of patience as I continue to move into this and work through not only the master plan, but address some zoning concerns that we have and trying to continue to make this a great community, so.
I do want to thank Gordon, because Gordon is the watchdog, and he's caught a couple of businesses that did not put in the plantings that we had approved. They put in something else, and he was very good about catching that. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have. You have somebody in zoning to follow up. I mean, we can't go out and see if they planted, you know, a 1.5 caliber tree of the right species that we had recommended or not. But I think our board has done a lot of good things in, like, tree selection and recommendations for different places to put them in an increased amount.
Mrs. Chuck, don't brag on him too much. His head's too big now.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, our other visitors, we have, Paula Becker from the Lilac Moose, which is, gonna be in our new business as well, and then, Rashad Drake again, from the, VIP Smoke Shop. So, we'll go into the new business. This is, zoning use and approval for 130 Harrison Avenue, the Lilac Moose. And do we have a representative? Okay. Yeah, you can come on up. Come on up.
Good evening.
I don't know exactly what you want from us as far as, we're a vintage shop. We do vintage and home decor. We have small, furniture items. We're doing floral arts. We basically go like to, estate sales, and we do online auctions. We get pieces. Everything's pretty much one-of-a-kind pieces, so our inventory will be constantly changing. So, we've done, vendor booths at vendor places, like at antique malls and stuff like that in the past, so we decided we wanted to try it on our own, so here we are. So, do you have any questions?
You think you'll be able to succeed there in spite of Terry Lane being the landlord?
Terry Lane's
Terry
been
Lane.
awesome. He's good.
Terry's a good friend of mine, so
He is. He's
I say
been
that
great.
with all
Yes.
jest.
He's been
Yes.
great.
He's been really good.
He's
He actually
laughing.
just redid the bathroom. So, yep, we did want to ask, about, there's a metal bracket over the door, I guess, over 130. And, there was the graphic T-shirt, they had a T-shirt sign up there. So I don't know we were just wondering what the guidelines were to get a sign to put up there.
So Gordon would be able to walk you through our sign ordinance for
Okay.
the district
Okay,
to make sure that it meets the guidelines
okay,
of the district.
all right,
It has color restraints and everything else, but he'd be able to walk you fully through that,
okay,
and make sure that you order something that's appropriate for
Okay.
the area.
all right, good, very good. I don't think I have anything else. Anybody else has any questions?
Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll go ahead with the staff report on that one.
Yeah. This is case, 2024-1014. The applicant is Paula Becker for the Lilac Moose LLC. This is a zoning and use approval request at 130 Harrison Avenue in the downtown redevelopment district. The property owner is Terry Lane. The zoning and surrounding zoning is the downtown redevelopment district. This request, the applicant is required to submit a zoning and use permit for approval to open a business in the downtown redevelopment district per section 1143.05C15. Such permits shall show construction consistent with the overall theme approved by the Planning Commission and Council for Development in the DRD. The intended use, if approved, intends to open a vintage shop and home decor retail store. The Lilac Moose was created by a trio of sisters from the greater Cincinnati area. The business will sell vintage furniture, home decor, floral arts, and one-of-a-kind home accessories. Store hours of operation will be Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Retail sales of goods and products is permitted in the DRD section. This is a two-story building with apartments on the second floor. The applicant will be using the 780 square feet of the ground space floor for the business. Only cosmetic changes are planned for the building. There are no existing landscape areas on the property, and no outdoor lighting is proposed. One designated parking spot will be available behind the building, and on-street parking is available in front of the building. Proposed sign is not presented at the time of the application, and the applicant plans to replace front window decals with the business name and information to hang on a projected sign on the existing metal framework. The recommendation from the Building and Zoning Department, if approved, recommends the following conditions: that all waste associated with the business shall be disposed of using residential style waste containers. Any future dumpster use in the future shall require review and approval by the Building and Zoning Department. Any structural improvements will require a building permit for approval. Any outside changes, such as painting or trim, will require a zoning permit to ensure they are keeping with the historic nature of the downtown. And any future signage shall be approved for or submitted for approval. Any future landscaping will be maintained in accordance with the zoning regulations.
Wilson moves to approve.
I will second it.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Graff?
Yay.
Mr. Grubbs?
Yay.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Motion approved.
All right.
Welcome to the downtown, ladies.
Congratulations. Our next new business will be the conditional use approval for 10554 Harrison Avenue, the VIP Smoke Shop. This was what we did have the public hearing for in the beginning. And so there's no other information needed there. We'll go ahead and read the staff report.
This case is 2024-1001. The applicant is Richard Drake from Drake Architecture. It's a request to open an e-cigarette, vape, and accessory shop, which is only by conditional use approval by Planning Commission. The location is 10554 Harrison Avenue. The owner is S.K. Harrison LLC. Current and surrounding zoning is B, general business. This is a request to open an e-cigarette, vape, and accessory shop, which is only permitted through conditional use by Planning Commission per section 114305C. Vape smoke shops specialize in the selling of electronic cigarette products. The proposed business would like to operate in the old Taco Bell building on Harrison Avenue. Sales of e-cigarettes, accessories, and associated merchandise like tobacco products will be sold at this location. The applicant feels this business will have no adverse effects on the surrounding businesses with no additional light or noise pollution. There is ample parking, and the applicant is working with the owner of the property to repair the cosmetic defects to the exterior of the building. Landscaping and parking lot repairs, and also the parking lot restriping of the building also for repairs. There are several outstanding property maintenance issues with the exterior of the building, and the property will need to be addressed by the owner. Please see the attached letters and photos from the building official. After review of the application, there is concern that this use on the main corridor of the city's business district does not fit with the City of Harrison's comprehensive plans and goals and strategies. The comprehensive plan encourages city leaders and decision makers to identify and aggressively market key economic development sites to grow employment and tax base in the city. This site is a key economic development site located on Harrison Avenue corridor, a major focal point in the comprehensive plan to grow employment and tax base for the city. With very few employees at the business, that goal would not be met. Based on current research and public input, there is a demand for the city of Harrison for additional retail and restaurant along the Harrison Avenue corridor, including sit-down restaurants and large retail establishments. The proposed business use by the applicant does not fit this strategic plan to aggressively attract these type of businesses in this area to satisfy the demand. Approving a use on prime real estate property that does not fit the overall strategic plan for the Harrison Avenue corridor could hinder the growth of the city and its economic base.
All these violations have been sent to the owner, where they at, in Tennessee or something like that?
No, I believe they're on the east side of town.
Oh, they're on the east side of town? All these violations have been sent to them numerous times over the past?
Not numerous times, because it has sold a couple of times, and then it has,
Oh, that's right.
we haven't been able to locate the previous owner.
I don't know, you know, I do empathize, with you in this venture that you stepped out on. Once again, I go back to, I really wish y'all would have come to the planning or building and zoning department prior to, but this is a key piece of property, with important road frontage, in a very, busy, important part of, our business district up there. And, it's unfortunate that the investment has been put into the property. But I can't, I myself, I'm not speaking for everybody here, I can't make a recommendation to move forward, at this time. I think if you take into account the comprehensive plan, the importance of all that property, in the location of this structure, I think it's too important for a different redevelopment opportunity.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from my perspective as well, I hear you that you're offering a wide variety of products in retail, and, I think all of us would love to have more retail throughout the city, but, to me, it still smells too much like a vape shop, which we've got plenty of right now, particularly along that corridor.
And that's not even, I'm not gonna speak directly to the vape shop thing, because we don't have anything saying we can have 7 vape shops, or 8 vape shops, or 10 vape shops. But to have that on that piece of property is my biggest concern, with its ability to, meet the community's needs on that piece of property. But I agree.
I agree with you. I think, if we started limiting to the number of things that could be in Harrison, we'd probably have about 53 less pizza parlors. It seems like we got a pizza parlor on every corner. But my problem is the same as the mayor. That is a prime piece of property that we would like to see the city have a nice restaurant in that area. Parking's perfect. I mean, it's location, location, location. Everything's great for that. And I just, I feel sorry for you also. When I was in real estate, if I'd have signed a contract on that, it would have been contingent on approval of the city of Harrison. That way you're not out any money. I think, I don't know, somehow I think you got taken advantage of and signed something, a pig in the poke, and it shouldn't have happened. But it did, so here's where we are. But I just think that piece of property is much more valuable to other businesses that might come in than it would be for this type of shop.
So no vote is a
I
denial?
believe we make the
Make a
motion
motion.
to not approve the conditional use.
Make a motion and not approve.
Second.
Mr. Wilson,
Yay.
Mr. Graff,
Yay.
Mr. Grubbs,
Yay.
Ms. Knock,
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo,
Yeah. And no new business. We do not have any old business. So that would be about it for our meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
All right.
Roll call for adjournment.
Mr. Wilson, adjourn. Mr. Graff,
Yay.
Mr. Grubbs,
Yay.
Ms. Knock,
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yeah. We are adjourned.